I wanted to ask you briefly, there are so many memorable moments in Boong, and one of my favorites is when Boong starts reciting like a virgin in the assembly line, and it really sets up his personality and his character. So tell me a little bit about that scene and what made you write it.
It actually happened in my school. Yeah, so I was studying in a boarding school, and there was compulsory physical training in the morning. And the boys' hostel boys were, I think, quite fed up every day of reciting prayers. And one of them just recited like a virgin. And that was, I found it really funny because the instructor didn't realize that the song was being recited, and I think I wanted to use it somewhere, and I think this was like it just naturally fit into this film, and it felt like Book is very much like that character who would recite something like this.
My second question is, so you've had a really long and exemplary career just working in film as a writer, first AD, second AD, on everything from Lakshya to A Suitable Boy. But this is the first time you have directed a feature and told your story. So what drew you to this story? And the second part of the question, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, but tell me a little bit about the timeline of writing it and then shooting it.
So the thing is, being a first assistant director is a very different job set skill that you require, and I uh, was not like, it was not my dream that I have to direct. It's not like a promotion. But this story happened to me like kind of, I think I was kind of looking for some closures. And I wrote it literally like I was writing a diary. And I didn't think it would become a script, but it did. And yeah, that's how, and because I wanted to tell it so badly, that's how I got to direct it, and directing it was a bonus. The writing it was what I wanted to do, and I got to direct. That was a huge bonus for me. And at the point when I was writing, I was taking care of two patients in the house. So it was during that phase that they just got discharged, and I was like, okay, I don't know whether they will have to go back to the hospital again. And I had this idea, and I have to write it. So, like, I wrote it in like 3 days, and then I forgot about it. That so the writing process was really short because it was like I thought the time, you have a moment and it might go. So I just grabbed that moment. Um, yeah, and we could not start shooting immediately because COVID happened, and Manipur keeps happening. Problems keep happening. But eventually, we shot in 2023 and wrapped up literally just before the conflict. And yeah, that's how that was kind of from conception to finally shooting the film.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that because so there's so much in this film, there's so much nuance in it, and I thought, oh, the script must have taken like years to write, and you've been working on it, but tells you the power of just putting down your thoughts when you have a moment, and get the chance to do that. And really, what made the script come alive were the lead actors with Raju and Boong, and the chemistry between them was incredible. And you told me a few anecdotes about working with the kids and casting the kids, and I think the audience would love to hear more about that also.
So both Boong and Raju are non-actors, and in Manipur, there's not like a casting, like an organized casting system. So everything was word of mouth. Like Boong's aunt had come for, to for a job interview to do production, and I was like, "Stop this meeting! Just tell me if there's a boy who's really naughty." And just like I gave her a profile, and she said, "Yeah, I have a relative. I think he might fit the bill." That's how he came for the audition. Same with Raju. I think one of the production assistants brought his neighbor and said, "You want to try this boy out?" That's how Raju was cast. So it was literally word of mouth, and sometimes I would be walking on the road and running after kids. Like, it felt like I was a kidnapper or something, but I mean, all the children were cast like that. uh, Mandakini, um the mother, she's a professional actress, and few other people. But yeah, everything else was like, someone who fits this role, and that's how they came for the audition. And the two children, they just, I mean, automatically they hit it off. They became friends, but they were also very competitive. You know, in the beginning, they were always like competing with each other that, oh, my dialogue is better and XYZ. But during the whole like process of filming, they started being very protective, towards each other. I think that scene was there where Boom pushes Raju. So I heard on my headphone, he was telling uh, Raju that auntie told me, push you really hard, but I'm only going to do a fake pushing and you act like as if you got hurt. So I thought it was really sweet. And I would overhear their conversations on the can, whatever they were saying, and just realize that they had actually, it was a long journey from these two boys who were always competing, and suddenly they started, helping each other with their performance, and they actually became Boom and Raju.
And you said they got a chance to meet again when you screened at Mami, right? Or in Mumbai?
Yeah, because Boom is played by Gugun Kipgen, who's a cookie boy. So they no longer live in the valley. I mean, he was one of the first people who had to leave his home. They still haven't returned. So, and Raju lives in the valley. And they finally got to meet each other in a neutral ground, which was Mumbai when they came for uh, the Mummy Festival. And it was actually very emotional.
Can you tell us a little bit about the uh, this is a very emotional thing, and I'm sure we'll have more questions about that. So I'm going to change tack really quick and talk about one more iconic scene in the movie before I hand it over to the audience. You said that you wanted to cast Jenny Khurai uh, in the film, and you had her in mind when you wrote the drag scene. And that was such an amazing, iconic scene. The choreography was incredible there. So tell me a bit about that.
So Jenny is a very big activist, transgender activist in Manipur, and we have a really strong and very inspiring, empowered transgender community. And I've known of Jenny since, you know, ever since Jenny was known. That was in my childhood, and so I always wanted to cast her because I've seen her on the road, and I found her like just so confident, and and what was your second half? I forgot. Sorry, it's so funny.
The choreography
Yeah.
of the
So
scene.
yeah. So again, there was no choreographer, and it's a low budget film. So Jenny's makeup artist choreographed the song, with the song, and the background was choreographed by the costume assistant. So that's how we we did the choreography. There was no like choreographer, but I also was very, it was my tribute to the community, and even the dancers were all from the transgender community. I didn't want just like it's a song, like where it's a mismatch. It was just like little things that I wanted to put. If some people don't get it, it's fine. But from my side, I wanted to have everybody from the community feature in the song, the first song.
Yeah, it's like an homage from your side to the
Yeah,
community
yeah,
and
yeah.
to the work that they've done. I'm going to open it up now because I'm sure there's a lot of audience questions. So if you do have any questions, please come up here and you can use the microphone to ask it.
Hi, Lakshmipriya. I don't think you can you see me? And do
Yes,
you
I can.
recognize
Hi.
me?
Is that Vachna?
No, it's Miriam from Jamia.
Oh my God. Miriam.
It's it's such a big moment to see your film on the big screen. I'm so emotional, I can't tell you. And with everything that's going on there, my heart's with you. And I think I first heard the term Mete and Mayang from you and from Yaya. And I've seen how much you've played with that term within your film. So first, congratulations. Second is, how did you weave that whole, the border scenario into your film to also create these layers of insider, outsider?
So the starting point of that discrimination was obviously Delhi. Know that how it is so prominent, the discrimination. So what we went through as people from the Northeast and
Yes.
but I also realized whenever I used to go for summer vacations that the same was happening in Manipur. And it's a problem that happens that wherever there's a majority, the minority will always be discriminated against. So that was a thing that I wanted to uh, express. And actually, I thought it was my last film. So basically, whatever I wanted to say, I have put here. So this racial discrimination was one which was really, because I've gone through it ever since I was in Delhi from the age of 10. And it was always there, ever present.
Yeah.
And secondly, I found Moreh, the border town, extremely fascinating because it's so cosmopolitan with people from all over India, literally settled in there, all speaking in our language, and it was it was a perfect place to have a culmination of the story. And in terms of through the course of how you can see the Raju has been discriminated, and and then here you come to this place which is a melting pot. So it was a very conscious thing for me to. It had to be set in Moreh. And what was another thing which was extremely fascinating is that most borders are like is quite rigid, right? And here the Indo-Myanmar is actually called Friendship Gate and is open, and the kids from the other side can come to school here. You can go visit your relatives or do your work and come back. So to culminate the film there was very conscious and effort, and it had to not be any other place.
Thank you. I hope it's not your last. It was beautiful.
Medium, I'm so happy to see you.
Yes,
I'll talk to you after the Q&A.
Were the police real? Like, were they there and then you added more cast members who were acting like the police and they helped, or were the police there?
You
and
mean the army?
Yeah.
Actually, they were real people in most scenes, barring the highway where, again, we did not have cast, and it was the lighting team. So the lighting team had guns and they were walking around setting up the lights, and mixed with the CMO helped us with a lot of security. So those people were also part of uh, the army. Is this becoming a family Q&A? Because I can see Daniel.
Why did you make them break up? Why did you make the boy lie to the mother?
Oh, so because so that he can not only protect his mother, but make her close that chapter. So they can move ahead. So it's all right that if somebody doesn't want to be in your life, it's fine. You can completely move forward and create a new beginning, and you're self-sufficient. So that was his gift to his mother, the closure. Boong wanted his mother to start new. That's why he lied to her.
I know a lot of the actors that you used were not trained actors. So my question is, all of the acting in the film was amazing. It was so honest and so real. What kind of training process did you have those actors go through, if there was at all?
So I only did readings with the mother and the two boys and Juliana, because most of the people didn't have time to come for anything because they have very different priorities in Manipur, and film is not one of them. So, but I had briefed them about the scenes, and with the mother and the boy, I took them to the house And I told the mother also just to set up the house so it feel like they live there. I didn't go like I didn't like rehearse with them there, but I wanted to make them feel the space, and it should look like they live there and it's not a set. And few other places I took them to feel the spaces. I just spoke to them about the what kind of characters. What I realized during the course of especially just actually particularly with the two boys, that somewhere along I regretted I gave them dialogues, because the kids are so, they want to remember and do well. So if like improvs are quite difficult, but midway, particularly during the Kangla Fort scene, when the Boong tells Raju that he wants to get a gift, that day I was like, okay, I'm just going to tell him forget the dialogues. And we were shooting chronologically, pretty much. So I still before that I was struggling, because whatever dialogues they were given, they were trying to remember, and it was really affecting the performance. But after that, they just let loose, and I think it was a learning experience for me. That you had to adapt on the go with children. With adults, it's easier. They know, they pick up, like, and especially the mother, she's like amazing. But with children, I had to adapt. I stopped. I never. The first thumb rule was that I never told them how to emote or how to act. I just gave them situation and asked them, "What will you feel?" So it was so spontaneous, and it worked that way. It kind of worked better for their performance and for me.
That's awesome. Well, kudos to you, and those kids did an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
You mentioned Bala Hijam's character. Can you tell me what made you want to cast her and her character as a mother? She's in a way a really cool mom. And when you were speaking about your approach to directing the kids, you also seem to have this attitude of you either do this or we'll stop. So tell me a bit more about casting her for that role and
So,
writing the mom.
So I tried watching some Manipuri films that she had done, but they're very different and slightly more melodramatic. It was an interview I watched of her, and I felt that she could be Mandakini, because she is very much like that. Like she looks very soft, but she is very blunt. Uh, she's not diplomatic. So that's how I auditioned her for Mandakini. And working with her was like, it reminded me of working with two actresses from the film industry, which is Rani Mukherjee and Karina. They don't rehearse at all. They can be doing anything and they just switch on when the camera comes. So Bala was like that, and she was so spontaneous, and I didn't have to work really much with her, but she was very different from the character that I imagined while writing. I imagined something like a combination of like my girl gang, who are like little more on the rude side. But she brought in that softness, and yet like her strength was also, but the softness did not like hide the strength. It could come true, but I love that she brought in that softness.
There is one scene where the kids go and meet Ravi Anna, right, in that shop, and on the side you are showing a South Indian temple. Oh, are there South Indian temples out there? Is it really that spot? That's the right location? Okay.
Yes. So what happened is in the 1950s, when the regime took over, and the Indians were, had to run away, flee from Myanmar. They tried going back to, the Tamilians tried to go back to Tamil Nadu, etc., but they missed Myanmar so much. It was their home. They lived there, like the families had gone like 100 years ago. So the closest place where they could come and be closest to their home, Myanmar, was Moreh in India.
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's a huge community. There are so many temples, and they all speak. They speak Myanmaris, they speak Manipuri, they speak Tamil, but in their heart, they're Myanmaris. Yeah, so it's very fascinating. Ravi and I know are not actors. All those ladies, they uh, uh, actually have tailoring units and stuff like that. And yeah, if you ever come to Northeast, you must visit.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very
Actually,
Mm.
we do tourism out there. Some of our friends, we have some temples out there, and in fact, my grandfather was one of the person who walked during the 1950s. Then walked back
Yeah,
to India. Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it. It was very good.
yeah. Thank you so much.
I've taken a few notes. I feel like there were so many anecdotes that you told me during our first conversation, and one of those was that uh, line that Boong says about a secondhand foreigner.
Mm.
And I wanted you to maybe talk about that anecdote.
So it was the first time that Boom, Raju, and Juliana met, and we were sitting on the floor, the boys and me, and I was just talking to them about. I'm just telling them the story. Juliana came late and she saw that we were on the floor and she said, "Oh my God, I have to sit on the floor." So Bung just looked at her and he was like, "Second-hand foreigner." And Raju and he started laughing. And I love the line. So I put it in the film. But he was very upset that the line was given to Raju. And then he didn't get to say it. And he was like, "Auntie, why are you giving all these good dialogues that, I'm saying to Raju?"
Briefly, can you talk about whether you're leading any more projects?
I've just been, traveling from one festival to another right now. But I have some ideas. And basically, I've written something. So let's see. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to say it's a very beautiful movie, and we wait for another movie to come. Waiting eagerly for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nimai Jarela, Abhi.
Tell me about the film scene in Manipur now with the conflict happening there. And there's a little bit that you showed in the film as well with Bollywood movies being banned, and Pal also had to was asked to apologize for working outside of Manipur. Tell us a bit about your approach to what the cinema is that you want to make and how that might change with the conflict happening.
Bollywood movies are still banned in Manipur. The ban has not lifted. So there are two theaters which have been renovated, and they were, all the theaters are shut down. They become mall. They become some tailoring unit, and etc. Once the ban happened, but two theaters were renovated, but unfortunately they could not open in because the conflict happened. So they play only like English films, or I think they are playing movies from the south. Is what I hear, but definitely not Hindi. The ban is still there. And as for me, the story defines the language. So whatever the story I really want to tell, the language will be defined by that. So if it's a story in Gujarat, obviously I can't make it in Manipuri.
It was such an amazing film. It was such a beautiful film and so emotional. And thank you so much for sharing it with us, Lakshmipriya.
And I want to thank the festival. And I really wish I was there. And thank you to everyone who came out to say hello to Boom. Thank you so much. I mean, I really wish I was there. Every screening, I get so excited and feel that, okay, maybe there's a possibility. Maybe I could make one more film.
We really hope we can have you back here for the festival.